Study, educate, unlearn what was taught. Hold down the fort, each one teach one. Now I got support.
Watching 10,000 League, and today I am going to teach you about the revolutionaries of the United States Civil Rights Movement. Let's go. The first revolutionary we're going to mention is Robert F. Williams. Before we start, there's something I'd like to say about the way that the United States Civil Rights Movement is taught, and I think it's very similar to the way that Britain teaches Indian history. Well, they would tell us about Gandhi and nothing else. They won't tell us about the Hindustan Socialist Republican Party, who fought a violent revolution against the British. They won't tell you about the First National War of Independence. They won't tell you about the communist naval mutinies. They won't tell you about the Ghadar Party. They won't tell you about Udham Singh, Bhagat Singh, Santokh Singh. Completely whitewashed. No student knows about them. And the very same is happening with United States history. They'll tell you about Martin Luther King. They'll tell you a bit about Rosa Parks. Good people. But the revolutionaries, the nitty-gritty ones who gave their lives for the revolution, who fought violently and gave their all, are completely forgotten in classes. You know, how many students know about Robert F. Williams, Paul Robeson, or how many of them know the background of Huey P. Newton and how he founded the Black Panther Party? Not many. So the purpose of this video is to tell you the background that they don't teach you in the classes, the background that doesn't whitewash it with leaders who do not threaten capitalism and don't threaten imperialism.
Unite, organize, and arm for self-defense. Only a fool will turn the other cheek to racist beasts who set out to exterminate our brutally oppressed people.
Robert F. Williams was a revolutionary in the United States, and he accomplished a lot in his life. He was a Marine. He was part of the migration north during World War II. He was a member of the National Rifle Association and a head of his local branch. He was a head of the local branch of his NAACP. He campaigned against segregation in libraries and swimming pools, and he successfully got them integrated. He fought a violent gun battle with a KKK caravan. He travelled to Cuba to start a radio station, and he met leader of the Chinese Communist Revolution, Mao Zedong. So we see that the man accomplished a lot. Here are the details. Robert F. Williams' grandmother was a former slave, and it was her that gave Robert F. Williams one of his first guns. Robert F. Williams was a part of the migration north during the World War II rush for work. He was a part of the Marines, and when he left the Marines, he went back to his hometown of Monroe. He used the NAACP to desegregate the libraries and the swimming pools in his hometown of Monroe. Now, Monroe had a lot of KKK activity, and they had caught wind of Robert F. Williams' successful campaigns against segregation. So, because of the increased KKK activity, there were rumours going about that a KKK caravan would attack a local man called Dr. Percy. Now, Robert F. Williams had established a national branch of the National Rifle Association in his hometown, and he used it to recruit local black veterans of World War II to help him defend the town from the KKK. He boarded up Dr. Percy's house with sandbags, and the rumours turned out to be true, so it was lucky that he found out about them. The KKK did attack Dr. Percy's house with an entire caravan. They opened fire on Dr. Percy's house, and Robert F. Williams, and with the help of his local black comrades from the National Rifle Association, fought back and repelled the attack on Dr. Percy's house by opening fire on the KKK caravan. So a very brave man to be firing his gun against the KKK. That's the kind of revolutionary that Robert F. Williams was. And Robert F. Williams later went on to write a book called Negroes with Guns. This book was the inspiration for the Black Panther Party, and it was read by Huey P. Newton. In 1958, he successfully defended two black boys in what was called the kissing case. This was a legal case in the United States where two black boys, one was 8, I think the other was 9, around that age, had been arrested and put in jail because a white girl had kissed one of them. This is how awful things were living in the United States for a black person, that whether you're 8 years old, 9 years old, you can get thrown in jail for something harmless like this. Robert F. Williams successfully defended the two black boys and got them released from jail. In 1961, there were race riots in his hometown of Monroe. He sheltered a white couple during the riots to protect them from one of the crowds. He released, well not released, but the white couple left. They stayed at this house long enough for the riots to subside and it was safe for them to leave. But the FBI accused him of kidnapping this couple and sent out an arrest warrant for Robert F. Williams. Robert F. Williams fled from the FBI by travelling to Cuba. Now, Cuba had recently had a communist revolution, and they were very friendly to Robert F. Williams. In fact, Fidel Castro, leader of the Cuban Communist Revolution, had helped Robert F. Williams to start a radio station called Free Dixie, or Free Radio Dixie. Now, this radio station was headed by Robert F. Williams to broadcast back to the United States to tell people about his experience of the Cuban Revolution. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, he called on black people in the United States Army to rebel or to mutiny against the United States Army if they ever tried to attack Cuba. Now, after his time in Cuba, he went to Vietnam, or he went to North Vietnam, where he called for armed resistance against the United States. Then after that, he travelled to China, where he met Mao Zedong, leader of the Chinese Communist Revolution. What's even more impressive, though, is that Robert F. Williams met Mao Zedong on the 1st of October 1966. The 1st of October in China is called National Day, and it celebrates the founding of the People's Republic of Chinese Government, the PRC, the People's Republic of China. Now, this is like the equivalent of the 4th of July in the United States. So imagine Barack Obama met with someone and shook their hand on the 4th of July. That would be an idea of how impressive it would be, how important Robert F. Williams was to the Chinese. When Robert F. Williams met Mao Zedong, he got Mao Zedong to sign his copy of Quotations from Mao Zedong. He travelled back to the United States via London, and all the charges against him were dropped. He spent the remainder of his life working for the University of Michigan in their Center for Chinese Studies, and in 1996 he died from Hodgkins disease. But not before he could get one more achievement, which was at his funeral. The eulogy was given by Rosa Parks, the woman who refused to give up her bus, which led to the Montgomery bus boycotts. That is Robert F. Williams. Now, the next revolutionary we have is Huey P. Newton, one of the founders of the Black Panther Party, their Minister of Self-Defense, and their most iconic, notable member, I guess. He was one of the 6 founding members.
The most we could do is act as a beacon light or spark that will mobilize the masses of the people who always make the change and make world history. That the Black Panther Party is unimportant as an organization, just as the Democratic Republican Party or the Ku Klux Klan. They're very unimportant as a group. They are important in the respect of being an influence upon people, and they will judge whether they're positive or negative on the basis of how free they make people in general.
Manifesting organizational skills, cause organizational skills kills more devils than bullets. Pull it, the psychological trigger.